This is the story of a place that was never meant to be found. A place not marked on any map. A place that does not forgive curiosity. It lies behind a tangle of trees so thick the sun is just a rumor, where the air tastes like rain that never falls, where birds perch but never sing. The people there live quietly, like candles behind glass. Doors latched before dusk. Windows crossed with twine. Salt tucked into every corner. Tradition, they say. Insurance, they mean. Then came the whispers. First, a child heard her name in the echo of the well. Then, a dog whimpered at an empty doorway until dawn. By the third night, the wind carried a strange melody, like a lullaby taught by someone who had forgotten how to breathe. The bewitching warns, what you feed with attention learns your shape. So the village made a pact to gnaw it. Don't answer, don't ask, don't look, and yet someone broke the rule. It began with a knock from inside the walls. 3 soft taps. Then silence. And when the latch lifted on its own, they learned the second rule. Once a whisper gets in, it doesn't leave alone by day. The forest seemed still, patient. Its trunks stood like soldiers, their bark peeling in long, curling strips. Mushrooms huddled at the roots, white and waxy. The ground was soft with rot, almost breathing beneath your feet. The houses crouched together, walls weathered gray. Each window bound with twine, each door marked with a pouch of salt. On every porch sat a bowl of water that no one drank. The water never stilled. The chapel in the square didn't ring its bell anymore. Long ago, the rope frayed and the bell fell, but it made no sound when it hit the floor. Now, it just sat there like a mouth refusing to open. And the paths, they bent for no reason, curved around empty patches of grass, so green they almost glowed. Children were taught not to step there. The green was where the story sank, and if you stood there too long, your shadow might come back. Different. At dusk, the forest leaned closer. Lamps burned low. Bright light was like a shouting. The village preferred whispers it could predict, full of footsteps that didn't belong to anyone. He came on a morning when the sky looked bruised. Mist curled around his boots. His coat was black, the kind that swallows light. No horse, no cart. One moment, the square was empty. The next, he stood at the well. When you looked straight at him, your eyes wanted to turn away. But when you did, his outline stayed, burned into the corner of your vision. Lost, the baker's boy asked, voice cracking. The man smiled slow, deliberate. No, I've been here before. He didn't ask for food or shelter. He asked for names. Who lives in the tall house with a crooked chimney? Who tends the chapel? Who draws water from the well? By noon, the salt pouches had gone damp and sagging. The bowls of water turned black. Children whispered that their shadows were heavier than they'd been that morning. No one saw him blink, and everywhere he walked, the air smelled faintly of burning hair. It started with the animals. Goats froze at the forest's edge, staring as though something in the shadows was counting them. By the second night, bolted doors were found wide open. The window twine had frayed into useless strands. Salt pouches leaked brown stains into the wood. People woke with bruises in places they couldn't reach themselves. Perfect black circles. Some heard breathing under their floors. Others heard tapping from inside the walls. By the third night, the well water turned the color of weak tea and reeked of iron. The baker's boy swore he saw faces beneath the surface, faces of the living. Then came the laughter, tight, clenched laughter just outside every home. And when you opened the door, there was nothing to Bewitching warns. Once you recognize the pattern, it's already finished its work. The village recognized it too late. The wind stopped at sunset. The forest froze. Even the insects went silent. 3 taps. Pause. 3 taps. 3 taps. From every wall, every floor, every ceiling, the stranger walked the square, humming a tune with no beginning and no end. Doors shook as he passed, not from wind, but from something pressing on them from inside. Laughter rose again, this time mixed with whispers, calling out names in voices that didn't belong to the living. Some villagers saw their dead relatives at the window. Others heard their own voice. When the chapel bell rang without its rope, the sound came from deep underground. In the Bewitching, the warning is clear. When the dark calls you by name, it isn't summoning you, it's replacing you. By dawn's edge, the survivors gathered in the square. The stranger was waiting. "One name," he said. "Give me one name, and I will leave." No one spoke. Mara, the midwife, stepped forward. The stranger's smile deepened. "I didn't ask for a gift," he whispered. "I asked for a betrayal." Elias, the chapel keeper, realized the truth. The curse didn't want blood, it wanted complicity. Before anyone could speak, Elias swung the chapel bell's clapper at the stranger's face. It passed through him like smoke. The well yawned open. Mara's shadow ripped free from her feet, writhing against the cobblestones. The villagers fled. Elias last, glancing back, only to see the stranger holding her shadow like a ribbon. The village rebuilt in silence. The well was sealed with stones, but still they heard dripping. Mara's grave was salted until the earth turned white. Elias left, never to return. Some say he had no shadow either. the stranger, gone. But travelers speak of a man in black on lonely roads, asking for names. The village made new rules. No mirrors after dark. No lingering near the well at noon. And never ever answer a knock unless you're certain it's meant for you. The bewitching leaves us with this truth. If you survive the curse, you carry it with you. And somewhere between one heartbeat and the next, you'll hear it start again.